For the final time in Season 13, it is race day here in the Formula College World Championship as we take you to the Kansas Speedway for tonight's running of the Yellow Brick Road 250 presented by the Longland Corporation. Good evening, everybody. I'm your host, Cade Corbin, joined in the booth by our producer, analyst, and previous FC winner, Ryan Whitlock. We're talking to you live here from the University of Alabama in Huntsville. Ryan, it's the final race of the season. It all comes down to this. What are we in store for tonight?
I think we're in store for a pretty good race. I think the oval racing product in the Formula College Championship has been a little bit hit or miss this season, but I think the progressive banking and highline running that Kansas lends itself to in the Cup Series might bleed over a little bit into this IndyCar. I think we'll probably see a little bit more passing than we were used to at maybe Las Vegas or something like that. There are a couple championship implications on the line. First overall is all but clinched by Muhammad Alif. I don't know if it's mathematical or not, but it might as well be. But there still are a few things to fight for. I think there's a top 3 on the line. I think there's a top 10 on the line. So these guys have got stuff to fight for sure.
Yeah, there absolutely is a couple of battles here. Muhammad Alif has it locked up by a whopping 137 points over Jake Cummings. So no matter what happens in this race, Muhammad Alif will be your overall champion. Although you got to keep in mind, he is still looking for his first career IndyCar oval win, has not snagged one. And with this being the possibility of his final start in this series, tonight could present his last opportunity to do just that. You mentioned that battle for third, Lucas Moody, Cale Davidson, those two both very good on the ovals, teammates from Ball State. They are separated by 20 points for the final rung on the podium in the overall standings, so that spot is up for grabs. And of course, that other battle that you mentioned, Logan McKim, Aaron Gosler fighting for a top 10 in the points, but also battling each other for Rookie of the Year. Those two only separated by 8 points. That's just a couple of positions, and all of it's going to be decided here when the checkered flag flies after this race.
Yeah, like you said, a lot of points positions still up for grabs. Muhammad Alif, I did not know his lead was 137 points. That is stout. That just shows you what consistent domination on the road courses can do for you. Although not to rag on his oval performances. I think he's brought home several podiums, several top 5s. I think he's almost always in the top 10 on ovals. But a couple close finishes with even his teammates like Cale Davidson and Lucas Moody just have meant he hasn't gotten that number 1 spot on an oval just yet. Drivers have got just under 2 minutes left in qualifying. They're completing their laps now. As soon as they're done with that, we will show you those positions. But why don't we go ahead and talk about this track? Let's see here. I'm pushing the buttons.
Yeah, this track incredibly difficult. Like Ryan mentioned earlier,
go.
progressive banking gets a little bit steeper the closer to the wall that you get, allows you to carry more momentum on the top lane, and it makes up for that difference in speed that you can find by running the shorter way around the corner. It allows you to run side by side. You can try to manipulate that to make passes. The Cup Series ran here on Monday, put on a fantastic show, and I think we're going to see a lot of that today. That track has been open now for nearly 25 years. It's 1.5 miles in length, which means that our fuel window going to be all important if we do see some green flag racing. It's going to be about 50 laps. Strategy-wise, Ryan, a very similar race to Las Vegas, so drivers do have a little bit of a notebook on this new aero package.
Yeah, fuel's going to get you in the realm of 50 laps, but the race is 166 laps long, so you can't just do 50, 100, get you to the end at 150. You're going to have to think about yellows, think about what's going on in the race, maybe even save some fuel farther back in the pack. But as Cade mentioned, that race on Monday night in the Cup Series was phenomenal. That progressive banking lends itself very nicely to stock cars at some tracks, Kansas being one of them. But in these Indy cars, they have so much grip and so much downforce. Even if the wings that they put on the car are paper thin, just the floor gives you so much grip that we'll see if that progressive banking being higher up means more banking makes much of a difference for these cars. The drivers have been informed that they are not allowed to use the apron on the front stretch. I think that's one thing drivers were allowed to use in the Cup Series because those cars can handle it. But in IndyCar, we are heavily advising against that, so we're not allowing you to do it. Drivers are currently doing their warm-up, so why don't we go ahead and take a look at our starting grid. Beautiful. Cade, take it away.
Yes, and that story that we talked about, the man trying to do it for the first time in his career, grabs the pole for tonight's running of the Yellow Brick Road 250. Our Muhammad Alif will lead us to the green flag alongside Nick Stockner, a huge storyline this season, retiring, dropping out of an admin position, but able to get his first career win at Pocono. He would like to go out on top, and he's going to roll off on the outside of the front row. Just behind them, Jake Cummings from Converse University trying to lock up that second spot in the overall points. He starts next to Michigan winner Lucas Moody from Ball State University. Back in the 5th spot, Dylan Beatty, also from BSU. He starting next to Adam Willoughby from Clemson. This may be the last time we see Willoughby. Starting back in the 7th spot, it is Andrew Voigt. He starts next to Nick Henley. Both of these drivers, possibly their final starts as well. All of them looking to go up on top. Both Voigt and Henley looking for their first career win. Clint Halterman, also potential final race for him. The driver from UNC Charlotte will roll off 9th next to Cale Davidson from BSU.
Rolling off 11th is Josh Camper from Kansas State. I do believe he's a rookie this season, or at least it's his second season. 11th is not a bad starting spot for him. Edwin Onofre rolls off 12th from the University of North Texas. Wyatt Burton from Trine, not the qualifying effort he would have liked, starting 13th, starting next to Brennan Lyman from Oklahoma Panhandle State in 14th. And my graphic is giving me some issues. There we go. Grant Schiller from St. Clair College, rolling off 15th next to Alex Jones from the Rolls-Holman Institute of Technology. And then 17th, Stell Beasley from the University of Delaware, right next to Logan McKim from St. Clair College in 18th. I think this is a Rookie of the Year battle, if I'm not mistaken. Rolling off 19th from Clemson University, potentially another farewell for Andrew Burrell as well, starting 19th, and then Aaron Gosler from Kansas State in 20th.
And that will round out the field. That is everybody who's starting today. 20 cars on the grid. And I'd have to say probably all 20 of them do have a decent shot to at least get a top 5, maybe contend for the win. Thus is the chaotic nature of IndyCar oval racing. You can see there just about 2 minutes left on the warm-up. So we want to take a moment to give our shout-outs before we get rolling here at Kansas. Want to thank all of you for watching. If there's a specific driver, team, or somebody you'd like an update on, let us know in that YouTube chat feature. To the right of your screen, we'll be keeping an eye on that for the duration of the night. Already seeing some shout-outs there, cheering for Logan McKim, Wyatt Burton, and shouting out the Longland Corporation as well, getting a little bit of love. They've been with us all season across all 3 of our series, so we do want to thank the Longland Corporation. If you need help with your car, truck, SUV, anything like that, head on over to Napa.com and get the Napa know-how from the Longland Corporation. Of course, we got to thank all of our admins, stewards, officials, everybody who helps put this race on. We know we got a lot of departures at the end of the season. We've already mentioned some drivers. Ryan up here in the booth, also going to be pretty significantly scaling back his participation in the CIL. So we thank you for everything you've done, and tonight sweating it out, pulling double duty, pushing the buttons, and talking behind the mic for us. So thank you. Thanks to everybody, and hopefully we are going to round out the season in the best way possible. Set to see that green flag here in about a minute.
Yeah, I think Kansas is going to be a pretty interesting finale for these guys. I know it's a fantastic track for stock car racing. It's one of my favorite in the next gen car, but I haven't tried it in Kansas, or excuse me, in the IndyCar. I know the current aerodynamic model for the IndyCar leaves a little bit to be desired. I wish iRacing would make some updates on that. But I mean, still, we're seeing guys get racy like this in the warm-up, and it doesn't look like the outside lane is non-existent, which is a refreshing change of pace from some of the previous ovals we've seen. But yeah, oh boy, there's some contact between, I think, Clint Halterman and a couple other people. Clint's got some broken suspension. That's just the warm-up. No big deal. Going to bring that thing on back to pit lane. Yeah, good to see support for Wyatt Burton in the chat. We've always got lots of support for Mr. Excitement Wyatt Burton, but good to see a shout out for Logan McKim as well. I don't see much chat support for him. Haven't seen much support over the course of the semester, so good to see potentially some new viewers, new fans cheering on their drivers. And the warm-up has just finished. The top of that warm-up is Josh Kemper with a 24.8, but in the tow, not representative of a qualifying time. But we'll see how that translates to race pace, Cade.
Yeah, absolutely. When you're sitting there in the draft and you know, you're working the aero, you're manipulating, maybe you're even lifting off the gas to try to save some fuel. I think that's going to be another factor that we may see on a long run. Your laps vary so much. Pace is so different. Really, this racing is not necessarily about how fast you can go on a single lap, but it's about how well you can manage traffic, make smart decisions, play the long game, the Longland game, I guess, if we want to call it that. But you have to make sure that you're going to wind up on top at the end of the run and at the end of the race. So it's a huge chess match. The guys who can do it well are the guys who can think, you know, 165 laps ahead of them, right? As soon as they take the green flag, you're positioning yourself. How are you going to be where you want to be? If we find out that we have a very strong draft effect, you may not want to be leading at the end of this race. You might want to be in second. You might want to make that slingshot move. Flip side of the coin, if we get this race going and we find out that passing is difficult, track position becomes at a premium, that changes your strategy. So guys going to be constantly on their toes. I mean, even rolling off here, warming up your tires. The race starts right now. But yeah, 1 to go. We'll see the green. A couple things we do want to update you all on real quick. We have talked about our overall champion, Muhammad Alif, taking a look at him right there, ready to take the green flag from the pole position. We do want to talk about this. Fixed course, fixed setup race, unlimited tire sets, no tire compounds, no push to pass. In that fuel window, around 50 laps. Could be a little bit more in the draft, like we talk about. You can use a higher fuel map. You can lift and coast. A few different things you can do. A couple of other guys we want to shout out. In addition to Alif winning our student and overall championship categories, his school, Ball State University, has locked up the school championship. So congratulations to that institution for winning that category here, headed into the final race of the season. And we do want to give a shout out to the University of North Texas's Edwin Onofre for locking up the Alumni Championship. Regardless of where he finishes tonight, by virtue of taking the green flag, he will be the highest finishing alumni driver in the point standings. So good stuff from those drivers. Excited to see how they do tonight. As they roll through the restart zone, our Muhammad Alif is going to lead us to green, and we are racing in the Yellow Brick Road 250, presented by the Longland Corporation.
Already a couple guys jockeying, trying to shuffle back and forth for track position. I think Caleb Davidson got hung out 3 wide a little bit earlier. But our Muhammad Alif leads us on lap 1. Nick Stockner right beside him. Jake Cummings immediately behind. It looks like that bottom line is really good, but the second lane works. I mean, Nick has not lost any ground at Jake Cummings hardly. Lots of jockeying still. People trying to figure out where they want to go, where they're looking for that clean air, or whether or not they're willing to deal with dirty air.
Yeah, early in the race, you got to make smart decisions. You don't want to put yourself in a position. Somebody got up and brushed the wall. Nick Stockner makes a huge save as they head through the tri-oval. Finds himself on the top of 3 wide, but that black car in the middle, I believe that's Lucas Moody, backed out and led him back in the line. And those are exactly the kinds of smart decisions you have got to be making. If you put your nose in a spot where it doesn't belong, or you get just a little bit too aggressive very early in this race, you could find yourself burning up your fast repair with a long ways to go. Now it's Jake Cummings up to the second spot, looking right at the gearbox of our Muhammad Alif, but Alif leads us across the line, now 3 laps in the books.
Yeah, a couple guys taking off fastest laps, another one for Cale Davidson, but it's still early running, going to be pretty easy to set fastest laps, especially if you get a big tow. He goes for the top, 3 wide here, Nick Stockner beneath and then Jake Cummings underneath him. I don't think Cale's going to make it stick here, just having to go the long way around. There's no grip advantage up there. Edwin Onofre thinking about making it 4 wide. I don't think that's going to work either. Cale Davidson blocks the move, settles back in line, side by side with Jake Cummings. Nick Stockner gets his way back up to second. Still 3 wide. 4 wide!
They're absolutely going at it. There's the 4 wide. And they are still 4 wide as they head for the tri-oval. Edwin's going to back out once again, now actually tuck in line behind Adam Willoughby. That makes him 3 wide for the lead into turn 1. Stockner finds himself between Davidson and Alif. Davidson going to tuck in just a little bit, but finds the momentum to fan out on the backstretch. Still 3 abreast into turn 3. That's Willoughby looking in the middle, washes up just a little bit. He's got to back out. That moves Onofre back, but still Onofre ripping the boards. Stockner a little bit of a run, doesn't quite lead the lap, but he was just a nose length behind Alif as once again Davidson 3 wide on the outside.
Yeah, it seems like as opposed to Las Vegas several weeks ago, it's a lot easier to get side by side with someone. It remains difficult to clear them. We expect that out of IndyCar racing with how important aerodynamics in the draft matters. But at least compared to Vegas, it seems way easier to get beside people. So Cale Davidson is still basically diagonally 3 wide with Muhammad Alif and Jake Cummings, as Edwin Onofre makes it a diagonal 4.
And I gotta think that this may not necessarily be them making a move, but just getting a little bit of clean air on that nose. I don't know how bad the dirty air is, but it seems like in the middle of the corner, Davidson just does not want to be right on the back end as Nick Stockner gets tagged, puts Davidson to the wall, car ramps into the catch fence, and that's going to be the first caution of the day. A big wreck at the front of the field. Edwin Onofre goes tumbling, still tumbling, side over side, end over end. Heavy damage for Davidson, and Onofre is going to come to rest on the right side wheels in one of the strangest landing places I've ever seen. Lap number 9, first wreck of the day.
Yeah, let's see if I can get a look at what happened to Cale Davidson here. I think just things got a little bit shifty on the front straight. I think maybe Cale became a victim of somebody else, and Edwin became a victim of Cale becoming a ramp. Let's see here. Yeah, so I think it looks like Jake Cummings came off the white line a little bit, put Nick up into Cale. Edwin rides the fence. Let's take a look at Jake Cummings on board here. On the front straightaway, Nick right there. Yeah, I don't know if that was netcode, but contact happened for sure. And Edwin goes for a ride. Oh my goodness gracious. Let me switch away from that before I make any of our viewers sick. Take a look at Cale Davidson here. Nick Stockner who's inside. They've gone 3 wide several times. Oh yeah, Nick just gets shot up. Well, we'll see who the stewards decide to rule on that one. I don't know if I'd call that a racing incident, because Lord knows that close quarters contact happens at high speed, and in these Indy cars with no fenders, contact at high speed is frequently a recipe for disaster, regardless of how light that contact may be.
And now the good news for those drivers, like we mentioned briefly, they do have 1 fast repair, so all that damage will go away, get fixed immediately. So Edwin Onofre, Cale Davidson still in this race, although I do believe they are going to lose a lap due to iRacing needing to tow that car back to pit lane. So still in the race, a little bit of a ways to go. Right there you can see Logan McKim getting the free pass, had to serve a pre-race penalty, but that will put the number 3 from St. Clair back on the lead lap. Something interesting emerging here. You talk about a 50-lap fuel window. Caution comes out on lap 10. You pit right here. It's a pretty easy 2-stop, Ryan. What are you thinking strategy-wise?
Let's see, lap 11, that means if you pit now, you have 155 to go. That's still pushing your fuel window, and I think track position just matters way too much. If I'm any of these drivers, I'm going to put my car in map 8, ride it out, maybe see if another caution happens, and a little more convenient fuel window.
We do have a few drivers who are going to try it. Looks like Jake Cummings, Adam Willoughby, everybody on back from him did decide to fill up. Maybe not necessarily a 2-stop, but a little bit extra fuel to work, help those cars out. Oh, dipping down now. I think that's Dylan Beatty. He may be trying to fuel up here and make it to the end on just 2 more pit stops. So strategy move from the Ball State driver. We do have a ruling from the stewards on that incident. It was ruled at fault for Jake Cummings, so it will be an end-of-line penalty for the driver from Converse University. He'll be sent to the tail end of the field, although he was kind of back there anyways because of pitting under that caution. So not a huge penalty for Jake, although he will see potentially some post-race implications with that one as well.
Hey, Kate, I have a stupid question.
Let's hear it.
Where are you seeing that?
I am loaded into the iRacing session, and I've gotten a message from Ricky Paz that the 95 car was at fault. So our series director, or current series director, I should say, in his final race, doing a little bit of double duty there as well, putting in work behind the scenes as a steward up in the booth for tonight's race, helping us out. I think Drew Williams, another one of our leaving admins, is helping us out in the booth as well. As we come around to the green, Muhammad Alif, Nick Stockner, still 1 and 2, same way that they rolled off before Edwin Onofre did his best Zane Smith impression. But Adam Willoughby, your new driver there in the 3rd spot. How about Stel Beasley in the 4th spot? Green is out once again. A little bit of an accordion effect. We'll see how that fans out in the farther back in the pack. But for the moment, Muhammad Alif opens it up about 4 car lengths as they head into turn 1.
Yeah, oh my goodness gracious. Muhammad Alif, that massive jump start gives him a disadvantage. Nick Stockner has all that time to develop a run in the toe. Both he and Adam Willoughby fly around Muhammad Alif. But I think Alif is going to try to get some retribution for that now that he's back in their toe. They're running side by side. That's going to generate a big hole in the air as Josh Camper is running in 4th place with a massive pack of people behind. Look at that group of drivers, all hounding for position. Stockner maintains the lead on that last lap.
Yeah, they got incredibly squirrely in that second group there. 4th on back, stacked up on the restart, trying to get together. That's a combination of drivers trying to work their way from the back. Stel Beasley missing a right front wing. Contact there for the rookie from Delaware, Brendan Lyman, wrecking across the front. More contact for Beasley. And it looks like for the moment we're going to stay green, although the 78 car from Oklahoma Panhandle State is absolutely destroyed. No caution, no car in the racing line, so iRacing is going to let this one go. Meanwhile, the pack has formed back up. Everybody looking at the gearbox of that silver Jeff Gordon tribute. Adam Willoughby now sitting in the 2nd spot. You mentioned it, Camper up to 4th. Grant Schiller, P5, current fastest lap of the race. Still green, but the field has split up pretty heavily.
Yeah, a lot of guys having to come down and take repairs.
Oh, it's Wyatt Burton,
who's one of our better oval drivers in the series. Brendan Lyman is going to have to take a fast repair, no question about it. That right front is not on the car anymore. And yeah, I think Cale Davidson, who's got a meatball flag, I think he's going to have to take a fast repair as well. We'll take a quick look up at this pack again real quick. Looks like we've got most of the people on the bottom line. A couple guys trying to make stuff work up high. Let's see if I can find... Go back and dig for that incident. Let's see. Did I go back too far? I might have. Excuse my searching, folks. Here we go. She's looking at Nick Henry. That's not what I want. Here's Brendan Lyman. I know Cale Davidson was also involved. Yeah, looks like Brennan's involved with Andrew Voigt there.
Yeah, that's that orange car from Penn State. This seemed to me like a netcode incident at first glance. I don't know if those 2 cars ever actually came together. Difficult to say.
I think Brennan is operating under the assumption that Andrew Voigt is going to be at the bottom of the track here at the start-finish line, but that's not a guarantee. Yeah, I think Brennan was just trying to find room that he expected to be there. Most people would, but it was not a guarantee. See what Stewart's rule on that one as well. Nick Stockner remains in the lead of this race with that hungry pack behind him.
Yeah, and I think as we kind of lost some numbers, the pack lost a little bit of strength, got strung out. You can see Clint Halterman trying to work the high lane, restarted outside the top 10. He's now up to P4, so good effort to come back for the driver of the 100, defending alumni champion, but part-time this season, not going to take home that honor once again. He's alongside Muhammad Alif for the 3rd spot, but without the toe on the straightaways, I'm not sure if he's going to make that work. although he maybe has the opportunity to get clear on corner exit here as there are three wide behind him. That's Jake Cummings, Lucas Moody, Josh Camphor. Look at the run from Moody up the middle as Halterman proves me wrong, pulling alongside Adam Willoughby. As they hit the stripe, it's going to be just about 145 to go, so still plenty of ways left in this race, but they are three wide for the fourth spot now. That's Alif on the inside of Moody and Cummings.
Yeah, I think the real lap number you're trying to get to is about 120. If you make it to lap 120 in one piece with a strategy that you're happy with, then you can just run the rest of the race, full rich fuel map, and just go. I think for the time being, we're witnessing guys be a little bit smarter, think about what they're doing. That's certainly one thing I enjoy about oval racing in this IndyCar, is whereas on a road course, 90% of your priority is just how fast can I go. On these ovals, the draft keeps you in it so much. So even if by yourself you're going to be 1/10 off, which relatively speaking isn't even that much, I think the entirety of our top 10 was within 1/10 of a second in qualifying. Driving smart matters more than driving fast in these races. And I think that's part of the reason why I enjoy watching them and participating in them so much.
So everybody backs it down now to about 2/2. Jake Cummings way up against the wall right there. I think they're trying to find some speed with that progressive banking that we talked about earlier in the race. Just seeing if there's anything more up there. Clint Halterman still running the second groove. Logan McKim touched the apron a little bit there on corner exit. Sketchy moment, but the 3 car able to keep it together. Up to 7th here. Good run by that car we mentioned. If he beats Aaron Gosler, he wins the Rookie of the Year category. So a little bit of an extra incentive there from the St. Clair driver. Jake Cummings looking 3 wide up top of a couple of All-State drivers. Going to momentarily get those positions. He's got Josh Camphor behind him. Now Halterman swings up in front of the 95. Back down to the middle for Halterman. And Moody for the moment going to clear Jake Cummings. But still sitting in the draft. Really good runs down the straightaway for that top line. We saw Edwin Onofre working it on the first run of the day. Seems to be something that's been pretty successful, and Cummings is going to keep working it in, though a little bit too overzealous from the car behind there. Tried to follow Jake, got some aero wash, and touched the wall just a little bit. No damage, no harm, no foul. Still racing.
Yeah, Josh Camphor looking on the inside of 3 wide there between Jake Cummings and I believe Lucas Moody. Just a lot of shuffling. Excuse me, that is not Lucas Moody. That is Logan McKim. Aren't Logan McKim and Stell Beasley currently fighting for Rookie of the Year honors? Ooh, gets a little squirrely there. Scares Josh Camphor. No harm, no foul, but yeah. Isn't it Stell Beasley and McKim? Rookie of the Year?
It's McKim and Gosler. I think Beasley is just a little bit too far behind to make up the points needed in this race alone, although Beasley could possibly snag one of the 2 positions. Those 3 right now, 10th through 12th. In the overall point standings. Gosler coming into this race 9 behind McKim for Rookie of the Year honors. So that is the battle to keep your eye on.
Yeah, as of right now, McKim winning that one by a healthy margin, 9-point advantage, and he's ahead on track. He's going to want to maintain that position, get those Rookie of the Year honors. As farther up in the field, Nick Stockner remains in charge by about a car length. Adam Willoughby worried about Clint Halterman. Can't go to the outside even if he wanted to, at risk of killing Clint. Just sitting there, probably thinking about his strategy, thinking about fuel. As Nick Stockner is in charge.
Something we do want to mention, catch you all up on. You saw Cale Davidson involved in that incident that did not bring out a yellow. His second big damage moment of the day means that he did not have a fast repair to fix that. He was involved in that first crash as well, so Cale Davidson unfortunately out of the race. Going to be scored 20th and last, which essentially guarantees that he is not going to finish this season on the podium after bringing home second last season. A good finish by Wyatt Burton and a good finish by Dylan Beatty could knock Cale Davidson outside of the top 5 in points, despite being a full-time driver this season. So not the way that Davidson wanted to end it. It's been definitely an up and down year, but with plenty of downs from bad luck. So that driver from BSU finds himself out of the race again. Edwin Onofre, Brennan Lyman, both those drivers 2 laps down. They have used their fast repairs as well. So no money in the bank for them. Wyatt Burton currently 1 lap down, but in the free pass position. So if a caution comes out here momentarily, the 26 would be able to get back on the lead lap with a repaired race car.
Yeah, I know we've mentioned it a few times throughout the broadcast this season, but the addition of the Lucky Dog, which is to most people a NASCAR or short track racing rule, the addition of a Lucky Dog to the FC season in the IndyCar racing, I think, has been a massive difference maker on ovals. Whereas, previously, if you go a lap down, you're going to need some serious luck in order to get back on the lead lap. But now if caution happens and you're the first guy lap down, you need a lap back. I think that's been big. I think that's going to help out Wyatt Burton, looking to bring home a strong championship result. And that's tough for Kale, man. He's probably the second best road course racer in this league by almost all accounts. Logan McKim right on the bumper. I think Lucas Moody there. Yeah, tough for Kale. I know he's had a rough season of incidents, and especially a rough season of quote-unquote mechanical failures, and by that I mean computer issues. So just not the finish Kale was looking for. I think he was hoping to finish the season strong. Tough break for him, but hopefully we'll see him back next season.
So Davidson officially our first exit from the night. Everybody else still in this race, 19 cars in it, could be approaching that first pit stop, about 50 laps. Talked about it a couple of times, but that's only 15 laps in the distance here. You're thinking about Nick Stockner. He's been leading all these laps, been out front basically since the green flag came back out. Gotta imagine he's burning a lot more fuel than the guys behind him. He may have to pit from the lead, which was super treacherous at Vegas. That's going to be something to navigate here. Getting on pit road, no easy feat, especially when you've got an entire pack behind you. So something these guys are possibly going to have to navigate coming up on a strategy play. And you also have to think about the 5 or 6 drivers that were on pit road under that first caution, thinking they could potentially stay out to about lap 60 and make it on just one more stop after that. So that's the strategy update. Could play out here anywhere from 10 to 13 laps from now. We'll see what Stockner wants to do. For the moment, though, I think he's content to lead and get those laps in the books, get himself one step closer to his second, and what would likely be his final career win in the CIL.
Yeah, I think, you know, if you decide to pit under green right now, you're at such a risk of a yellow coming out. I think if you pit, you run the risk of going 1, if not 2 laps down just on pit road. But it's almost funny the way it works. On road courses, if yellow comes out, pit lane is closed. So you want to pit before yellow comes out, whereas on ovals, you want to go as long as you can, because if a yellow doesn't come out, you're losing laps. So I think, you know, Nick might be pitting 1 or 2 laps sooner than most of these guys. That's going to be very tricky. It's almost a catch-22. The IndyCar has better braking power than almost anything else on the planet, with the exception of F1 cars, maybe Super Formula cars. Except on ovals, the cars are set up so asymmetrically that it's actually really easy to lock up a tire, whereas in a stock car, it's easy to lock up on pit road, and you have less braking performance, but it's still more predictable than the IndyCar, especially as you go on that transition from track to apron to pit lane. Those damping transitions, the IndyCar does not appreciate those, whereas the stock car takes those a little better. So Nick, you know, with as many laps as he's leading this early on in the race, is almost definitely going to have to pit about a lap or 2 sooner than the rest of his competition. I'm curious if he'll do that going into turn 3 or off of turn 4. We'll see what happens here in about, I don't know, 10 laps.
They're certainly trying to give him the opportunity to pit under yellow, though very squirrely in the back of the pack. Josh Camper's dropped out of the top 5, making way for Lucas Moody and Logan McKim. Muhammad Alif has held strong in that 4th spot for this entire stint. We saw Stell Beasley, the rookie from Delaware, come down pit road, missing the right front wing once again. So big damage to that machine happened farther back in the pack. Going to lose at least 3 laps to the leaders, not out of the race, but all the way back to 19th for Beasley. But they are definitely jockeying for position here. Incredibly sketchy, and it's every bit as sketchy as it looks when you are sitting behind the wheel of one of these cars. They move so quickly. I don't know if we can look at the speed, but I think we're going about 220 down the straightaways. Let's hop on board. How about Muhammad Alif? I mean, he's got a good look at a couple cars in front of him that are being a little bit squirrely. That's 215. Fastest part is going to be on corner entry. Yep, 220. You can see he backed it down before he even got into the corner. Did not want to be right on the gearbox of the 022, risking it in that dirty air. I think he might wants to get a little bit closer at the end of the race. But right now, definitely content to kind of just sit here, seeing a little bit of what we saw at Vegas, where we're just running side by side. No real reason to make a move, but I don't know if the opportunity is there the way that the track is rubbered up. So we'll just have to wait and see. That's Lucas Moody looking by on the outside. Clint Halton, a little bit of a look for the lead here, but don't think he has the momentum to get it done. Not able to draw alongside Nick Stockner. And he's going to stay next to Willoughby there for the second spot.
Yeah, I know one thing Nick has told me several times, our Pocono race winner, is that in order to really make the outside line work, you've got to hold the inside guy down. You want to shallow his entries, you want to...
Oh, car in the wall in the back. Aaron Gosler, sorry to interrupt, but the 30 car has pounded the outside wall.
That car is destroyed. He flipped it around. If the left side of his car is damaged, he spun. That's not just a standard wall impact. What goes on here? I believe that's...
Alex Jones to his inside. This is going into turn one. Jones washes way up the track.
Almost collects Andrew Burrell there. By a whisker, does not. Take a look at Alex Jones here. Yeah, just comes up by like a full length. That's really unfortunate for Gosler. Let's see. Let's ride on board with Burrell through that incident. Why don't we? Under your butt cheeks here, folks.
I feel like Andrew Burrell is the king of close calls. My goodness, had to put the left front on the apron to avoid that one. That is a very sketchy moment.
Yeah, I mean,
heads up driving by everybody to avoid it, but wow, what a hit.
Left front on the apron in and of itself is something you don't want to do in these cars, so doing that whilst avoiding someone else wrecking, good job by Burrell there. Yeah, tough break for Gosler. I do believe he has another fast repair left. I don't know if he had to use it earlier. Everybody coming down pit road. Let's see if I can find the pit lane camera I want. Perfect. See who comes off first.
And this is going to be just about everybody. Can't imagine a reason to stay out. You want to put some fresh tires on this
guys
car.
Staying out, but not many.
I think Andrew Voigt is trying to wave around, possibly. Wyatt Burton's going to get the free pass.
I think Wyatt might be pitting next time around.
All of your lead lap cars on pit road, though. Looks like possibly 2 tires from Clint Halterman. He's going to sneak out with the lead. Then it's Stockner Willoughby. Little bit of contact with a Leaf. Drops the 12 car to the 4th spot. But we'll see where they line up. Pit stops taking place on lap 48. For the most part, without incident. And everybody able to get him done.
So
yeah, not sure if that was 2 tires or just a fast stop.
2 tires does not matter in the IndyCar because it's one crew guy per tire anyways. He probably didn't take tires at all. He just gas. So, I mean, we'll see if that plays out for him. We have certainly seen throughout the night that the leader maintains an advantage on that inside line. But Nick Stockner, with fuel and fresh tires, narrowly beating out the likes of Adam Willoughby and Muhammad Alif on pit exit. I think Nick is going to be coming with a storm. What's the word I'm looking for? A head of wind? What's the phrase?
Head of steam.
Head of steam. Perfect. I had ST blank blank M. But I mean, as we saw in that last restart, Muhammad Alif led the race coming to the green and just left enough of a gap back to Adam Willoughby and Nick Stockner that the run they got through turn 1, which you're not approaching at full speed anyways on a restart, was enough to have them clear by turn 3. So we will see. I say that too much. We'll see what goes on with Clint Halterman regardless. And I do believe Wyatt Burton is taking a pit stop now. Based on my timing tower, he's back on the lead lap. Took advantage of that lucky dog. Andrew Voigt also at the back of the pack. I think he pit as well. So, yeah,
Voigt stayed out there to lead a lap, get some points, and I think maybe he wanted a shout-out, potentially last race for the driver from Penn State, but relinquishes the lead to put fuel in his car. He'll be restarting at the back, leading us to green after that pit stop. It's Clint Halterman from UNC Charlotte. He's got Nick Stockner, the alumni from Clemson, just behind him, and another Clemson driver in Willoughby in the 3rd spot. This is going to be lap 50 when we see the green. Coming through the restart zone, we are racing once again here in Kansas.
Yeah, good restart for Clint Halterman there. I think I'm going to ride on board with Muhammad Alif again to see what kind of runs these guys get on Clint Halterman. Foot pinned to the floor. No concerns regarding friction in the grip your tires provides. No weaving from Clint. Nick looking to the outside, but with no real help. We've got a head of steam. Thank you for providing me with that, Cade. Clint decides to come up a little bit. Looks like Muhammad Alif has got someone who's inside. They are 3 wide for the lead heading into turn 1. Willoughby doesn't manage to stay.
I saw a little bit of contact between those cars, and a piece flew off from either the 100 or the 124. Couldn't tell exactly what happened, but they did come together just a little bit. Nearly came together again as Stockner pulled to the inside to get the draft of Halterman and simultaneously block the run from Muhammad Alif. That's going to hang Willoughby out to the outside. No help for the 022. Lucas Moody moving into the fight. He's got nowhere to go, but they're going to keep single file, and that pit stop has gotten Clint Halterman the lead. And if that previous run is any indication, it's going to be his for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I guess deciding to take no tires, at least that's my assumption, proved to be the call for Clint Halterman at a track like this where you're not growth limited and in hardly any situation. I imagine tire wear isn't too bad. Also worth mentioning that the sun is getting lower in the sky. It has effectively set. We are now under the lights of Kansas Speedway, so track temperature is starting to come down as well and influencing tire wear for these drivers.
Yeah, this track was already pretty cool to begin with. Cool night here in Kansas. Couldn't ask for a better setting to shed the light, call the curtain. Ryan, I'm also forgetting how to say the phrase, but we're looking for a good way to end the season here, not just in the Formula College Series, but also in the CIL Season 13 as a whole, all of our series coming to a close tonight at Kansas. Couldn't ask for a better way to do it. As that track cools down, it's just going to continue to have more grip, possibly be a little bit racier. We're seeing it here. McKim has pulled up right behind Lucas Moody as Lucas Moody wants the lead, was able to get to the right rear of Halterman, and this is the best battle for the lead that I think we've seen all day. Moody's going to get a nose ahead into turn number 3, taking full advantage of those cooler track conditions. Halterman not able to get there. There's contact. Great save from Moody. Halterman leads at the line, but there are 2 full trains of cars here. You've got the alumni lined up on the inside, the students on the outside, except for Josh Camphor. He's already graduated from KSU, putting on a show there in the 5th spot. Had a look to the outside of McKim, but ultimately decides to duck back in line.
Yeah, still Clint Halterman holding firm. Moves up just a little bit, probably scared Lucas Moody a hair. Nick Stockner stayed behind, but I'm surprised at the progress Lucas and Logan have been able to make to get side by side at the 1st and 2nd row, but I will be surprised if any clearing happens. I think we're just going to maintain side by side for a while. Unless I'm correct about Clint only taking fuel, not tires, and this might be coming to bite him.
Yeah, just not having the grip on those Firestones, not going to help the 100 out at all. Do want to give a quick moment to update. Previous incident was ruled at fault for the 45 of Alex Jones, so he had to start at the rear for that previous restart. Although he had to come in and repair damage, I believe used the fast repair on that 45 car from Rose-Hulman Institute. So no more insurance in the bank for him, and he's worked his way back up to 13th. After restarting back P15, so +2 since the restart for Jones, rookie in this series, looking for, I believe, his first top 10 on an oval in the FC series. As Halterman gets a little bit squirrely coming off of 2, this battle has not gone away. McKim and Moody still making that top lane work, but unable to clear either Halterman or Stockner. Looking back there, 3 wide for a moment for the 5th spot. Willoughby on the inside of Camphor. Alif continuing to slip back. He started on pole. He's now back to the 7th spot and under fire from Jake Cummings.
Yeah, Josh Camphor making his way up there. Muhammad Alif restarted first on the previous restart. On that last restart was, I think, 3rd or 4th. And now all the way back down in 8th as Jake Cummings looks around the outside. Still Clint Halterman holding firm on the inside line, protecting that bottom line, that shortest gap around.
Car in the wall, sorry, that was Grant Schiller from St. Clair.
Don't know how much damage he's got on that Dallara IR18. Certainly moving at a slower pace. Let's get a replay of that. Riding in the dirty air, Jake Cummings. But lost the field in the dirty air, to tell you the truth. Getting that toe. turns in too late. Scrubs the wall. Nobody hits him, thankfully. Still Beasley gets close. But, yeah, might not even be a 2x for the likes of Grant Schiller. So, not too bad. He's probably lost the toe, which is unfortunate for him. But, at least he doesn't have any damage.
It did look like there was a moment where he could have come back down into traffic, but elected to keep that car against the wall. So, good, smart move from the driver of the 5, and I think he'll be able to stay on the lead lap at least until the next pit cycle here. Depends how much time he loses per lap not having the draft, but no major damage to the 5. Grant Schiller in his 2nd season here in the Formula College Series, so happy to have him back. Still side by side for the lead. McKim is clear low if he wants it, but it doesn't look like he does. Content to just stay behind that 13 car. Nothing he can really do to push Lucas Moody, but he can certainly sit there for the tow, maybe give some moral support to that 13 car. Not moving low, not blocking Stockner. He's definitely clear now, but still decides to stay in that 2nd lane, leaves the door open. Stockner moves into that gap on the entry to turn 1, and he's going to be able to get to the left rear of the 3. Now 3 wide for the 6th spot. That was Jake Cummings at a good run to the outside. A Leaf moves high and I think clips the wall as he had a huge run on Camphor. No damage to the 12 though, keeps his foot in it, and he stays on the outside now looking for the 6th spot. Nothing there, he's back alongside Willoughby. And once again under fire from Cummings as, oh, that is Clint Halterman on the apron. What has happened? Into Willoughby, big crash.
Oh my, was Clint contacted there? Humongous wreck. Willoughby's involved, Halterman's involved. What? Oh. I found it. Let's see if I can get a better look here. Looking at Clint Halterman here. On the front straightaway. Touches apron. Comes up a hair. Lucas came down, but it almost looks like Lucas's car was rotating. Gee, who was that? Spinning sideways. Good grief. Andrew Voigt?
Oh, that is Andrew Voigt, yeah.
I mean, lots of hard wrecks happened there. Good grief.
Looks
yeah,
like
that's Andrew
Alex
Voigt.
Jones
Humongous
got on the
wreck.
brakes, and oh my gosh.
I don't know if I said it much last night, but get the tarps.
Woo.
Get the tarps. Let's see. Lucas Moody, replay. He's looking at Lucas and Clint Halterman. I believe this is our primary suspect.
Yeah, this definitely started it.
That's so that's mega
whoa.
net code. That might be some of the worst net code I've ever seen. Let's do. I mean, iRacing says they made contact
right
there.
That is a net code. That's zip code. I mean, that is a huge
and then
gap
they're
between
inside
those
of each
cars.
other. That's pretty bad.
I want to ride along with Dylan Beatty if we can.
Yeah,
Something
let's
interesting
see
happened
here.
to the 20 car there. He was right in the thick of it. At least 6 cars involved in this one. No damage to the 20, which I think is really interesting as we'll see in this ride along here. But he's going to see the carnage unfold. Can't really even see the 100 or the 13 car battling for the lead. He's going to see Halterman shoot to the bottom. The entire field checks up, tries to figure out what to do. And Dylan Beatty simply morphs through Halterman, and his car decides that it didn't want to be damaged, and it puts itself back together again. So Dylan Beatty
Is okay.
he's fine. He's doing all right. And Lucas Moody comes out of that one with the race lead here with less than 100 to go in Kansas.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for Clint Halterman. That was pretty bad net code. Well, you know, one of the deciding factors in us implementing a fast repair on oval races was how bad the net code is at times in these cars at these high tracks. I mean, it makes sense, you know, you're trying to send internet signals back and forth to each other whilst the cars are traveling 220 miles an hour. So in the time it takes for one person's internet signal to connect with another person's signal across the country, the cars themselves could have virtually moved 20 feet down the road. But still, unfortunate, not beautiful. Sucks for Clint Halterman. We'll see if the stewards make any decision. But I know how I feel about it.
the decision that has been made has ruled Clint Halterman at fault due to the contact happening after the car was moved onto the apron.
Actually,
Although
yeah.
not much of an in-race penalty there for Halterman, simply due to the fact that he had to go to the back anyways to tow that car to pit lane and take his fast repair. Still had one left, so he'll be able to continue, although I do think he's going to lose at least one lap trying to repair that car. Although Halterman should be able to continue at the moment. He has gone 2 laps down, but will be continuing. Same can be said for Alex Jones. I believe Andrew Burrell was caught up in that wreck as well, and I think that also will end the night of Stell Beasley, who already, I think, had taken a fast repair, but experienced heavy damage in that race as well. There's Clint Halterman's car. Thing absolutely destroyed.
Yeah, he'd be done, but he's done. He's out of the race. Aaron Gosler also. So I did type there on my penalty. Lucas Moody goes green again. Nick Stockner right on his bumper, goes to the inside. Nick's got an overlap. Nick's there. One of the best
fantastic restart
I've ever seen
from Nick Stockner. He's going to take the lead on the exit of turn 2. McKim sees blood in the water, nowhere to go. He gets boxed in.
Here comes a
Nick
leaf.
Henley wants some. What a move to the outside. 3 wide for second. Top 4 under a blanket. McKim up to P2. Careful going on the apron there. That can be incredibly sketchy. Moody wants the lead back, but Stockner led at the line.
What a restart by Nick Stockner. I wanted to finish my point on Clint Halterman. I can see why the stewards decided to give him that penalty, because even though the initial contact was net code, once he was forced onto the apron, it was Clint's responsibility to slow the car down and not wash back up into the track on the racing surface. So even though net code was what started that whole thing, he had ample opportunity to hit that brake pedal a little bit and did not re-enter onto the racing surface. So I now understand that decision. But Nick Stockner, side by side with Lucas Moody. Lucas Moody on the outside of the first row once again. Hopefully this isn't a recipe for disaster again. But great restart by Nick Stockner.
The lead for the 124 car. He's been able to maintain it since that green flag. Now it's McKim's second car on the bottom. A Leaf second car up top with Nick Henley working his way into the top 5 for the first time all night. Schiller once again brushing the wall in the back. No harm, no foul. Kampfer third car up top. So those are your top 6 running 2 by 2, just like we saw in the last run. Although I think the big difference here is that the leader is on fresher tires. Remember, we talked about Halterman just not having that grip. It maybe could have kept that outside lane in the fight a little bit, but right now Stockner does not have that disadvantage. He was on pit road, same time as the rest of these guys, and so the strategy in the end I think has worked out in the favor of Stockner, putting tires on. He's now clear if he wants it, don't think he does, and that's going to pull McKim up to the second position.
Yeah, I do want to give a shout out to Nick Henley as well. I do believe this is his senior season of Collegiate iRacing League competition, so he will be done, at least as a student. I don't know if he intends to return as alumni. It would be nice if he did. Running in the 6th position. Got a great view of what's going on up ahead. Nick Stockner maintaining that inside line with Logan McKim fighting for Rookie of the Year honors. This would be a great result to bring that title, or bring that award home on Muhammad Ali. Just kind of diagonally on the outside corner.
We do want to take a moment to have a look at those chats. Thank you all for talking to us, getting some shout outs for FIU, Brennan Lyman. FIU not in the field tonight, but still some shout outs to their sim racing program. Really well. We have. Esteban Munoz, I think, is the big name that comes to mind here in the open wheel cars. And of course, actually, here's an interesting question. The average I rating of these drivers, I think the strength of field for this session is somewhere around 2.3K. I don't know if that's oval or road, though. But
the individual I ratings of each of these drivers pulled up. I'm looking at it on my screen. And there is an I rating minimum in this series of 1,500. A couple drivers have earned waivers for that, demonstrating competency and knowledge of these cars previously. One of them being our race leader, Nick Stockner. He's actually got an I rating of 1398, but I know Nick is hardly the Formula car driver, so I imagine that's Formula Road iRating, whereas his oval iRating would be much higher. But yeah, 2.3 sounds about right. We've got guys as high as 3.4. I mean, Arnold Leaf is 5.3. Edwin Minofer is 4.3. But that is Formula Road iRating, not oval. It's a tricky situation in terms of which of those two use, but still, getting some good action from guys across the entire iRating spectrum, even here just in this top 5 alone.
A couple of updates here. Alex Jones, Clint Halterman have both gone out of the race, so those two cars are going to be scored 18th and 19th in the final running of this one. Heavy damage to Aaron Gosler likely means that Rookie of the Year honors not in the cards for that driver, although he did lead those standings for a majority of the season. And looking at Logan McKim in the second spot here was going to be really difficult to beat anyways. So some updates there. Stowe Beasley as well, likely knocked out of the running for top 10 in points and Rookie of the Year honors, which was what was on the line for that trio of drivers. Still side by side for the lead. McKim right up the gearbox of Nick Stockner, giving him a scare into turn one. I mean, entered the corner inches away from the rear end of that machine. Just a netcode moment away from making Nick use his fast repairs. McKim now shifts to the top lane, throws a block on a Leaf, gets right in the draft of Moody. Moody and Stockner still side by side. Nick maybe going to have a moment to get clear here, but momentum back on the outside for Moody with McKim again behind him. I know McKim runs stock cars sometimes, but I think somebody ought to go down there and tell him that you cannot bump draft in a car that does not have a bumper. Trust me, I've tried it a few times in a Formula 1600, and it does not work so well. But McKim doing everything he can to move that 13 car up, and that's going to open a hole on the bottom for Nick Henley as Moody gets a little bit squirrely, moves up on the track. That time by, we are halfway down, halfway to go here at Kansas. Stockner leading right alongside Lucas Moody.
Yeah, I can confirm, Kate. I have also attempted to bump draft in the IndyCar, and no amount of Team Penske attenuator modifications will make the bump draft a viable option in the IndyCar. Same with the side draft. Side draft doesn't really work too wonderfully in this car. The main thing you want to try to do is the outside car. Is just make that entry shallow and pinch off those exits. Not really necessarily an aerodynamic manipulation, but just a position manipulation of the guy you're trying to race. Lucas Moody been side by side with Nick Stockner for laps upon laps upon laps. I think Logan McKim is actually getting a little frustrated running behind these guys with no options, no ability to do anything. He was previously behind Nick Stockner for a significant chunk of laps. Now he's riding behind Lucas Moody, seeing if that makes any difference. But unfortunately, nothing going as of yet. And
I think the last time...
Sorry, go ahead, Cade.
Yeah, Schiller got the wall once again. He's been riding that wall on corner exit basically every lap. I can't imagine he's going to have any paint left on those Firestone tires on the right side of that car. But no, I was going to take a look at what our fuel strategy is here. I think the majority of the field stayed out on that previous caution, which was about lap 65. So pretty much everybody is looking at needing to pit somewhere around the lap 100 mark. We can take a look here.
Length of stint.
Ooh.
On the tower, that is the current length of their stint. So fuel goes about 49 to 50. Cautions can change that, plus or minus, I'd say 2 laps. So yeah, a lot of guys looking at coming in not too far from now.
And while we were talking about that, Lucas Moody got shuffled out of line. Logan McKim had a huge run on the 124, took it to the outside, but wasn't able to get clear. Henley was able to get around his BSU teammate as that opened the door for a Leaf to sneak up in there. Now side by side for the lead is the red wheel driver versus the orange wheel driver, with Henley and Moody, 2 BSU drivers, making up the second row. A little bit of a shake-up there. But yeah, to your point, pit stops likely 9 or 10 laps away for everybody that was in on a couple cautions ago, but few more drivers can go a little farther.
Yeah, and as we've mentioned a couple times already in this broadcast, if you're leading the race, you're going to just do nothing but keep your foot down. only option you have is changing your fuel map, whereas farther back in the pack, you're going to be doing more lifting. You know, you don't want to just drive straight through the guy in front of you. You've got to lift. And you're going to save a lot of fuel doing so. I mean, if your average throttle position is 80% as opposed to 100, I mean, you're saving around about 20% more fuel. That's not exact math. It's not a completely linear relationship, I'm sure, but you get my point.
Right there, Stockner nearly had a moment to get clear on the exit of the corner, but McKim, really good move off the outside lane. These two, I think, are going to have to get single file here. We talk about pitting. As difficult as it is to pit from the inside, it's even more difficult to pit from the outside, hoping and praying that the guy to your bottom gets out of the way. So if I'm McKim, I think he wants to lead at least a lap. I think he wants to get out front, but Stockner's fighting him for it. At some point, you may just got to make the smart decision. Tuck in line while you still can, because if he can't get clear of Henley, he's going to have to find some other way to drop down to the bottom to make that pit stop work. Definitely burning a lot of fuel on the 3 car relative to the guys around him, so will need to make a stop fairly soon. And yeah, you cannot do that from the outside lane if there's another car there. Not because of the rules, but because it's physically impossible. So we'll see if McKim tries to get down. We'll see if Alif tries to get down as well. He's actually gotten around Moody and now taking the 3rd spot from Henley, getting the draft from McKim, trying to see if he can get a run up. But Armam and Alif can stay out for another 20 laps or so he can put a car on the outside lane, doesn't have to worry about being close to pit entrance. And he can make the outside lane work a little bit longer than some of these other guys right now in the 3rd position. He is clear of Henley. Henley given a pretty big gap to Stockner.
Yeah, I think Henley's just playing it safe on the same fuel strategy as Nick Stockner, but as you mentioned, Muhammad Alif is only 27 laps into his stint, whereas a lot of these guys are around number 47. So I think as we get closer and closer to the likes of Stockner, McKim, Henley, Moody having to pit, let's see if caution luck plays any real factor in this. And if it does not, then I think who pits when and the speed of the pack you stay in once you pit is going to be a big determining factor in this race. You know, if the 48 or if the guys who are pitting for fuel soon stop, then they're going to be in one pack, and the guys who haven't are possibly going to be in another. Or it'll be multiple cars on different laps all in one big pack. You know, there's no real way to know for sure other than we're going to find out here. 10 laps, probably.
It is going to be interesting, though. You talk about those 2 leaders, McKim and Stockner. If they pit right here, they still have a little bit under 70 laps in the race. They may need a second stop. Everybody else, if they can get to that kind of maybe 116 would be ideal, maybe a little bit before that, those drivers will be good to the end. So Alif right now in that group, potentially on the preferred strategy, is having to cut out one pit stop entirely. McKim finally able to grab the lead, but it's only by a nose. Not clear for the St. Clair driver. Stockner fighting back on the bottom, as that was, I think, Jake Cummings grazing the wall in the tri-oval. Not sure if there's major damage to that 95 car, but he's going to lose a handful of positions riding the wall, gaining momentum back now, trying to blend back in with the pack, but he's now fallen back to those drivers, all of them back there several laps down. No positions for Jake Cummings. The only other lead lap car back there is Grant Schiller. So the good news for Cummings is he's still in the lead pack, but I think a little bit of damage to the right side of that car, and definitely a major scare.
Yeah, I mean, any amount of wall contact is bad wall contact in these cars. It's not like a stock car where leaving Darlington stripes is okay. Logan McKim, they are both
Interesting
opting
pit
to
stops
here.
Good communication there.
Oh
Whoa,
my goodness,
around.
they don't
back
do
up on
it
the
well
track.
enough.
Caution is out with 67 laps to go. I don't see any damage to Stockner. I think the thing that bit him was that asymmetry you were talking about. McKim, meanwhile, I don't see any major
Stockner's
damage
car's
either, but I
broken.
would worry
Alif
about
has
what
a
happened to
meatball.
that machine.
Henley's got a
Muhammad
meatball.
Alif, Nick Henley, both of those cars destroyed. They'll have to take fast repairs.
Tell you what, Nick Henley is probably going to give us a good replay here. Coming off of turn 2, Stockner and McKim both need a pit. They do so going into turn 3, but they just don't slow up
Oh,
enough.
my goodness.
That's not a beautiful look. Our Muhammad Ali turns into a Beyblade. You know, I think for the
Huge
sake of the
wreck.
viewers, I will not do an onboard camera of that, but I will do an external one.
Oh, that car did a hop.
Dylan Beatty,
Dylan Beatty
Boyd.
once again gets incredibly lucky. I think Schiller got some damage in that one as well. Yeah, Dylan Beatty's car, that car's
makes Josh
cheated up, man.
Camper
That
our
thing can't
leader.
take any damage.
Josh Camper is now the leader of this race. I have a
Edwin
feeling how the
O'Frey
stewards are going to rule on that one. Tell you what, we'll take one more look at Logan McKinn's on board as that incident happened. Side by side with Stockner coming off turn 2. Knows he needs to pit. Comes down. They both enter into 3. And they both make the same mistake. But McKinn actually gets away
damage
without
to the
contact.
3 car, yeah.
Although pits are closed, so McKinn might actually be in trouble here. As a driver who... No, he makes it. Never mind. I was about to say, as a driver who needs fuel, but the pits are closed, I was worried for his sake, but it seems like he got away with that, mostly.
So this is actually going to cycle Adam Willoughby to the lead. I'm not sure who all pitted there. Some drivers coming in for fuel, some drivers not. We will sort that out, I think, once we get green.
Yeah,
We'll have a look at how many laps drivers have on a stint. But yes, Edwin and O'Frey did get the free pass there. Oh, Willoughby going to come in. This is interesting. 64 to go in the race. Very long on fuel.
Yeah, that's not feasible.
But going to make sure he's topped off, probably for just as short a stop as possible here, with either 15 laps to go or 15 laps into this stint or something. Beasley and Gosler each going to get 1 lap back, but that would put them -3 and -7 respectfully. Edwin and O'Frey free pass. He is 1 lap down. Alif, Henley, they lost laps as well. Andrew Burrell still -2. Nick Stockner gets his fast repair used for the night. So for the 64, the 12, and the 124, no free repairs left for those cars. Stockner still on the lead lap, though. So just something to keep in mind for that trio. Yes, Josh Camphor, the rookie alumni from Kansas State, your race leader. And he's going to lead us to green.
And I'm getting word from the stewards. There's your graphic. Nick Stockner, car 124, a strike, and he will start this restart at the end of the line due to contact via that unsafe pit entry. Unfortunate for Nick. He had a good race going, but I do not disagree with that decision whatsoever. So take a look at Josh Camper here on this restart. Bit of a stack up farther back in the field. We're used to that in FC. No major issues yet. Good go for Camper here. We'll see if Dylan Beatty has anything to say about it. Andrew Voigt a little bit farther back with Jake Cummings once again in 4th place. Dylan Beatty side by side with Josh Camper. About halfway ahead, but I don't think it's going to be enough. We know how strong that inside line is. But he leads the first lap after the restart. Here comes Andrew
And here
Voigt
goes
making it
Voigt,
3 wide. Dylan Beatty gets loose
and saves it.
They make
Now
contact.
he's into the wall. They all
How
save
in
it.
the
Jake Cummings
world?
is there. Logan McKim sneaks
Voigt's
through
slow.
back to the 4th position.
And after that crazy pit entry that almost ruined his race, Logan McKim is immediately 3rd again. And gunning for
Third and
second.
looking for second, gunning for the lead. If he can get to the outside of Josh Camphor, he's going to get there and be side by side with Dylan Beatty in tow. I don't see any damage to the 20 car, although there was definitely contact. Same for the 95, I think, caught the outside wall. Nothing there for either of those drivers, no damage, so they stay racing. This time by 60 laps to go, 2 rookies leading the field. How about Grant Schiller fighting for the 3rd spot? He's looking 3 wide for the lead, but that lane gets shut down. Jake Cummings coming high. No move there from the 95. He'll slide back in line. are seeing those cheers in the chat for Logan McKim, the driver from Canada. St. Clair, probably our favorite school from up there across the border, putting on a pretty good showing today. Keegan Kallick going to score well in the overall points category. Logan McKim right now finds himself 3 wide for the lead, able to clear Muhammad Alif into the corner, but still that top spot stays with Josh Kampfer, the alumni rookie from Kansas State. Alif, his teammate Dylan Beatty, still right there in the mix. That lap car, I believe, is Brennan Lyman. No, Brennan Lyman back on the lead lap at this point in the race. First time we've said his name as a front runner all night. Had a really good run at Pocono, finished second to Stockner. He's looking to be one spot better tonight and get it done. The rookie from Oklahoma Panhandle State trying to make some stuff happen. He's fighting for the 5th spot now, as Kampfer gets a little bit high on corner entry there, maybe trying to shuffle McKim, getting his head a little bit, play some mind games. If Kampfer can get clear, that'd make his job a lot easier, but for the moment, he's going to deal with the momentum off the corner, putting that 3 car side by side with him, all the way down the back straightaway and all the way for 3 and 4.
I mean, I remember closer to the start of this race, I said if you get to about lap 110, 120, that's when you're really going to want to go for it. If you went back and told me that the 2 drivers we would see fighting for the lead at lap 111 would be Josh Kampfer and Logan McKim, I would not have believed you. And yet here we are. All to play for still.
I do think it's all about the end of the race, though. Like I said at the top of the show, you're thinking about where you're going to wind up at the end of this thing. Everybody still has 1 pit stop to make. The length of that pit stop going to be determined by how much fuel you need to put in the car, so leading the race right now could be to the disadvantage of these 2 drivers if they have to sit on pit road for a longer duration of time. We'll see. Certainly clean air is something that I would want to see, but the 2 biggest wrecks of the night have happened from the front row. Talking about Nick Stockner, Clint Halterman, Lucas Moody. Those incidents happened battling for the lead, so I don't think anywhere is safe in this pack. Muhammad Alif certainly doesn't want to be in dirty air, but he's now got Jake Cummings to his outside. Cummings, the OCS drivers there with Brennan Lyman just behind him. Trio of Ball State drivers, trio of rookies in this mess. We got a little bit of everything, and there's still over 50 laps to play here in Kansas.
I think while we've got the time before these guys make their final pit stops, I think we will take a quick break. We'll keep the camera pointed at the action. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with the season finale of the Formula College Championship.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Yellow Brick Road 250, presented by the Longland Corporation here at Kansas Speedway. Season finale for CIL Season 13 and this season of the Formula College World Championship. Just a little bit under 50 laps to go here. Want to take a moment to shout out our sponsors who've helped us throughout the season, notably the University of Northwestern Ohio. They have stepped in, given us a lot of support across all of our series, sponsoring, I believe, some of the replays for today and sponsoring the league as a whole. If you're looking to kickstart your career in motorsports education, head on over to www.unoh.edu and find out more about all of their facilities. They're the only school in the country with a purpose-built racetrack, looking for degrees across all forms of motorsports, open wheel racing, stock car racing, anything you can think of, they have it at UNOH. Of course, we also got to shout out the sponsor of today's race, the Longland Corporation. If you need the Napa know-how for your car, truck, SUV, or other vehicle, head on over to NapaOnline.com. That's store ID 28128 if you're looking for the Longland Corporation, and get the Napa know-how and see why they've been such a great sponsor for us here in the Formula College Series this season. We also want to give a shout out to Whiplash Sim Cams, helping make our broadcasts a lot easier. It's not easy to push all these buttons behind the scenes, but if you want to see how it's done or get in on the action, come out and join the Collegiate iRacing League. Our socials are there in the description of the YouTube video if you want to see how things work, or maybe try your hand at racing here against some of sim racing's best collegiate drivers. Then you too can join the Collegiate iRacing League. And be sure to check us out at collegiateiracingleague.com for all of the information, statistics, broadcast standings, and information about our admins. So thank you all for tuning in. Hopefully you'll enjoy the end of this one as much as I will. We are 3 wide for the lead, so I'm sure we have plenty of good stuff in store. I'm Kate Corbin, joined by Ryan Whitlock here, if you're just now tuning in, live from the University of Alabama in Huntsville, bringing you live flag-to-flag coverage from the virtual Kansas Speedway. Couldn't think of a better setting for the end of the season here. As the laps wind down, everybody still needs to make a stop for fuel here. Less than 40 laps to go at the line, and it's 2 rookies leading the field with 2 veterans behind him, and then a host of others looking for probably what would be their best result of their careers. So a lot of drivers seeing a lot on the line. You do got to keep in mind, Muhammad Alif there, that 12 car, he is 1 lap down, was involved in a heavy crash while the leaders were trying, yes. So he's trying to get one of his laps back the old-fashioned way so he can then try to sneak himself into the free pass position. Right now, that spot is held by Onofre, so even if Alif gets around the leaders, he'll be 1 lap down and he'll be trapped there. Needs a couple more yellows to get back in this one. Kind of a rare position for Alif to find himself in, but not looking too promising if he wants to win his first ever oval race in the FC, although he is absolutely giving it his all. He's been sending it 3 wide, and if you've been wondering why, well, that's the reason. He needs to get himself ahead of those leaders to take advantage of a caution coming out, because as we've seen, Carnage can strike at any time.
Oh yeah, Carnage can strike at any time under any circumstances, and like we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, those revised for this season caution, lucky dog, and pass-by rules means that Alif's race isn't over. If you get 2 back-to-back yellows, or certain people decide to pit and certain people don't, he could be back in this, even though there's only about 36 laps to go now. But we've witnessed Josh Kemper and Logan McKinnon running side-by-side for basically the bulk of this stint, although it is worth mentioning that 4th on the leaderboard, running about 5th/6th as far as the pack is concerned, but 5th on the leaderboard is Nick Stockman, who had a very impressive second stint. Muhammad Alif trying to go 3 wide. Our leaders don't think he's going to be able to make that work, but Nick and Adam are back up there, not out of it by any stretch.
And then just behind them, that driver in the 7th spot, Wyatt Burton's been able to get himself back on the lead lap and very methodically gain positions as there's contact. McKim and Camphor got together. That sent Alif into the wall. Damage to the right front wing, the 12 car. Heavy damage. Trying to get out of the way. That car is not going to steer at all. Drives up, nearly grabs the wall. I think Logan McKim.
Is a meatball.
Yes, McKim. Huge damage to the 3.
Brutal.
And once again, the
Brutal for
contact
him.
happens at the front of the field. It's always seems to be the leaders,
Go back
and
take
this
a
time
look
has
here.
been no different. Riding along with McKim.
About tire width above that black seam in the track. Rides it here. That net code. And then net code decides his front left is broken. Let's try. Why don't we try looking at camper? And let's do chopper cam. Why don't we?
I think the initial contact between those two cars was entirely due to netcode. I don't think they ever actually came together here. It's going to be on a corner, middle of the corner to corner exit.
Yeah,
right there's the
that's
first contact.
unfortunate for McKim, unfortunate for Leaf as well. Yeah, I mean, you know, Camper wasn't hugging that white line as much as we've seen other drivers do, but that's what he's been doing most of the night, so it's not like his position relative to that white line wavered compared to what it had previously. But yeah, unfortunate. Another victim of netcode tonight. But look at that. Adam Willoughby knocking on the door of second. Nick Statner's still in fifth, so it seems like Willoughby has separated himself from his orange-wheeled friend. Adam up here in the shot to lead.
I gotta say, when things like that happen for a driver like Logan McKim, man, probably the race of his career, and unfortunately, it's going to end due to something that isn't even in his control, not due to somebody else either. Really, just the luck of the draw did not go his way. Those types of moments are certainly heartbreaking. McKim has managed to stay one lap down, and so we talk about wave arounds, lucky dogs, potential late race carnage. His race is not over. Just got to keep his head down, keep his foot to the floor, and try to finish this one out. He's just about mathematically locked up Rookie of the Year, but yeah, heartbreak to see a race like this end that way here. Super close to the finish too. Less than 30 laps to go now. And for a Leaf as well, pretty much knocked out of contention to try to win his first oval race and potentially win in the last race of his career, as I think we're going to see something going on. Stell Beasley's in the wall. Josh Camphor backed way out of it, and that gave the lead to Adam Willoughby. No idea what happened there. That is a lap car, the 70 machine. Has been on and off pit road a number of times, sitting about 9 laps down to the leader. Have no idea what happened here, but we're going to get a look at it.
Just slow with no draft, or, I mean, I don't know if that car's handling well or not. Just keeps it up there. He's in the right part of the track. That's not where anyone wants to be. Yeah. Just no toe. Maybe a slightly damaged race car. Still nets Adam Willoughby the lead. Interesting turn of events there.
I think just a super cautious overreaction from Josh Camphor. Wanted to really make sure that he kept the nose of that car clean. Backed way out of it, unfortunately opened up the door to let the rest of these drivers by. There's Muhammad Alif going 4 laps down, something we don't say super often, but just like Beasley gets up out of the way, has no issue letting the leaders go by, which now gives us Adam Willoughby and Lucas Moody side by side for the lead. Josh Camphor not out of it. He sits in the 4th spot with Dylan Beatty, the car made of magic, sitting right there on the bottom. He's on the 3rd spot, hugging the white line. He's got one of his teammates up there, another Ball State driver in that mix. Alif 4 laps down. So definitely strength in numbers. Nothing new to the Ball State camp, but once again they find themselves with a host of their drivers towards the front of the field. Stell Beasley hard on the outside wall. I think that was Grant Schiller that was collected as well, and once again we see a massive crash. Both cars off the racing line. The caution has not come out. We are still green. I don't know if there was contact with Henley, but somehow both of these cars stay pointed in the right direction long enough for iRacing decides to just let him go.
Ooh, Beasley
another
makes
netcode incident. Yeah, that was.
I think that was real contact. I don't know if I'd call that netcode. Ran right into that right rear of a no flag. No yellow. Lucas Moody leads the lap. Gets quote unquote help from his teammate Muhammad Alif, but I still think Adam Willoughby's got the preferred line on the bottom. maybe not necessarily coming to the line, but in terms of maintaining position, certainly much easier to do so on the inside. I think coming to the line, the outside will have preference.
Oh, there's contact. Willoughby shuffled down to the bottom. Is he able to keep it down there? I think so. Rejoins safely, but all of his track position is gone in an instant. He's gonna have some tow. There was some help back there in the form of Andrew Burrell. Big move by Lucas Moody. Don't know if that was just hard racing or if somebody's at fault.
See if we can blame netcode again. I
want to look like those two cars just came together.
A little bit, if I'm being really honest. Still, Lucy's not dead. Tough break for him, though.
Yeah, Willoughby.
And now Lucas Moody has a rear gunner in his Ball State teammate Dylan Beatty. I don't know how hard these two are going to fight each other, but you'd always rather be 1-2 with a teammate than 1-2 with someone else.
Absolutely, especially if they're trying to choreograph pit stops. You've got to think, as much as we've talked about those all night, they are coming up here. Last time we saw cars on pit road, by my math, was close to 50 laps ago. So it'll be really interesting to see when these guys pit. They're obviously going to try to take the least amount of fuel possible. Likely no tires on this stop. It's going to be just a splash and go. Moody and Beatty now leading the field. Camphor's held on to the third spot. You talk about Adam Willoughby. Good move by that car to stay in the draft, stay on the lead lap. Keeps him in the 9th position. So not completely out of it. The other driver who was unfortunately involved in major contact a few laps ago, Grant Schiller, I believe, is going to be out of this race. Stell Beasley, I think, going to be out of this one as well. So that's going to drop Beasley to the 17th position after a decent run all night. Schiller likely going to be scored 16th by the time this one is done. A couple other cars just limping around as well. So that brings up the rear of the field. But back up front, it's 15 laps to go. The 13 and the 20 have put the pedal to the metal, and they've actually managed to open up a little bit of a gap back to Josh Kampfer.
You know, it is worth mentioning that with that one pit stop everybody is still going to eventually have to take. It is all still to play for. You know, if you pit 1 lap sooner or 1 lap later and a caution falls a certain way, or your in-lap or out-lap prove to be either of high or low quality, anything can happen here. I do not mind, in hindsight, that we did not get a yellow for that wreck, because it leaves green flag pit stops all to play for.
And the top two doing a little bit of switcheroo here, I think, trying to maintain momentum, not worrying about backing out of the gas or anything. Interesting when they got side by side in turn 1, but I think they've got it figured out this time. Dylan Beatty led the lap now. Moody's back to the point. Kampfer going to get a pretty good run, but Beatty's going to be able to hold the momentum on the bottom. If Moody can be clear of Kampfer, then it'll work out, but I don't know if the 13 is going to be able to get to the bottom. Yes, Kampfer lets him in line, whether or not he wants to. Now Beatty swings high. There goes Moody. We see this a lot at Indianapolis, but we're seeing it here at Kansas. I don't think this is going to save them enough fuel to get to the end of the race, but it is going to help keep those two cars in the top spot and build a little bit of a gap back to the field. Kampfer has Stockner behind him, so he's going to have to play some defense. Brennan Lyman up inside the top 5 as well. All of these drivers have shown over the course of the season that they can race well at oval tracks here in the IndyCar. This time by 13 laps to go. Moody leading. Here comes Josh Kampfer. Yep. He gets to pit road. I think that was a pit violation.
That was close. I think he, the middle of his car crossed over that pit entry cone. I don't know if he sped. We'll find out.
Well, I'm seeing a P on the timing tower.
Yep.
I think that means penalty. Jake Cummings in as well. So is the leader. Lucas Moody pits from the lead. Dylan Beatty drops in front of him. Beatty takes the lead, coming to pit road. Everybody else going to stay out, hope for a yellow. The 13 comes bombing in. Looks to me like he did get it slowed down in time, but that now transfers the lead to Brennan Lyman. Lyman leading with 11 to go here in the race, but he still has to make a stop. Yes, Kampfer serving his penalty. That's going to really hurt Jake Cummings because Cummings can't exit the pits with anybody. Now Brennan Lyman's the one to pit. He puts it on the apron and back up front side by side for the lead. Muhammad Alif not on the lead, but he's drafting with the 2 leaders, trying to stretch it just a little bit longer, hoping that caution flag is going to come out. It would be an absolute gift. Voigt's on pit road. Beatty's on pit road. Cummings has already come off. We'll see if the 95 can cycle ahead of those drivers. Yes, he's going to jump ahead of the 20, the 13, and likely Lyman and Voigt as well. Meanwhile, there is the 95, a good bit ahead of the 20. Beatty, we saw that aggressive pit entry, puts him a few car lengths ahead of Moody here. 10 laps to go. Wyatt Burton leading, but still a pit stop to make. It's going to be just a splash and go. There's Brennan Lyman coming off pit road. He is going to cycle out behind Jake Cummings and I think behind the BSU drivers as well. There's Andrew Voigt. Adam Willoughby currently making his stop. He's probably going to cycle out, guys. They are still making it work. 9 laps to go, Ryan. I don't think they can make it.
No.
But the longer they go, the better chance they give themselves to catch a yellow and get super lucky.
Yeah, I highly doubt they're going to make it from here. But, man, I mean, if the overcut, generally the overcut works. Based on my prior assumptions and knowledge, we'll see if that remains true. They're still out there. Did they do a super duper insane fuel save? I would be shocked. There's only 7 laps to go.
If they don't manage to pull this off, sorry, there's a massive battle going on for what is effectively, well, right now the 4th spot. There it is. Moody, Beatty, and Lyman. If they catch Jake Cummings, this could be the battle for the lead if the 2 leaders have to pit. So thinking about that here, there's Jake Cummings. Cummings has help. Josh Camphor 2 laps down, I believe, to the leaders, effectively 1 lap down in the race. He is going to have some help with that tow, going to be able to maintain momentum in that 95 car, should keep him ahead of that pack. You can't even see
right now.
Those BSU drivers.
Now it turns
Wyatt Burton's on pit road, so is Stockner.
All right. So
Clean pit stops.
A lap ahead. Here's Jake Cummings. Gets a lap back. Now they're on the same lap as the likes of Burton and Stockner. Comes out of turn 2, going into turn 3. Burton just now, Stockner just now in his box. Wyatt Burton rolling off of pit lane. Jake Cummings coming around turn 4. Here's the stripe. Wyatt Burton getting up to speed. This is going to be close. This is going to be really close. There's Nick Stockner. There's the likes of Beatty and Moody. Here's Wyatt Burton. Jake Cummings is going to have it. Just barely.
Burton might get a run, though. I think the 26 is close enough to camp for, I don't know, though. 5 laps to go at the line. Jake Cummings takes the lead, looking for his 2nd win of the season. Pulled it off at Long Beach and looking to get it done here today. Notable for that 95, only driver to start every race. Here he comes. Yes, Burton has the tow to the inside of Camphor. Camphor 3 laps down, I think, is going to let these boys fight. They have 2 seconds on Moody, Beatty, and Lyman. That group has gapped Stockner and Voigt. So it is a battle between these 2 cars, a 2-horse race with 4 laps to go. You couldn't ask for a better way to end the season. 2 heavyweights in this series going at it. Jake Cummings from Converse and Mr. Excitement, Wyatt Burton from Trine. Fires to the inside. He's going to get the lead in turn 4 and open up a huge gap on Jake Cummings, but I think that's just going to give a run to the 95. We'll see how this goes. 3 laps to go.
Yeah, I don't know if Jake is maybe underfueled his car, if he's just trying to play the tow game, you know, lay back far enough that he stays in the tow long enough to get a run that's of any significance. Dylan Beatty and Lucas Moody, I mean, they're getting closer, but they're running out of time. They're running out of time fast with only 3 laps to go. Coming to 2, they are just now getting in the tow of Andrew Burrell. Burrell and Camphor are going to be a factor in this race as lap cars, not by virtue of them being in position, but just the tow they're going to give. There's Beatty. Beatty is on the back of Jake Cummings, goes around the outside. I think he might have him cleared going into turn 1. Wyatt Burton coming to the white flag.
Yeah, they were side by side for a moment, but now a big run from Dylan Beatty. It's 1 lap to go, presented by the Longland Corporation, and they are side by side. Burton trying to get it done. He's won the most races on ovals of any driver in the FC Series. Dylan Beatty has never been to victory lane. Here comes Lucas Moody, 3 wide on the outside.
Oh,
Burton
I think the
has the
teammates just
advantage
hurt
on the
each other
bottom.
there.
He's clear. He's clear. If he's clear on corner exit, it's going to be super close. He can't go on the apron. Nowhere to go, and it's Wyatt Burton. Mr. Excitement does it again and closes out the season with a win at Kansas. Gets it by just a nose over Lucas Moody.
Wow. What a finish. What a finish. I am surprised the strategy worked out that way. I'm so glad that race finished under green. It gave us such a great finish with people deciding when to pit. And honestly, you know, I think that Lucas getting involved is the reason his teammate didn't win there. Let's take a look. Yeah, this is coming to the white flag. White flag here. Lucas gets a run on Jake Cummings. I think Jake might have underfueled his car. He just had no speed towards the end of that race. Here comes Lucas on Dylan Beatty. There was room in the middle. Dylan closes it. Yeah, I think Lucas just kind of limited Dylan's options there. Tried to pull a Michigan. Doesn't happen. What a result. What a result. Oh, we missed some burnouts. Burnout, oh boy. Looks like that was
And I do go back and
some
I
three-man burnouts.
think about, yeah.
Oh.
Oh.
Well, that was incidental. They're going to stare at each other here in the virtual world, probably give each other the one-fingered salute if you could do that in iRacing. Still a great finish. Great finish. And here's Wyatt. Heck of a race.
Lucas is burning it down.
That's Lucas, excuse me.
This may be celebrating a podium here.
Yeah.
Lucas Moody locks up the 3rd spot in the point standings with a good run today. So yep, good stuff for him. Jake Cummings locks up 2nd in the points. Of course, your alumni champion stays the same, Edwin Onofre. Rookie of the year going to go to Logan McKim, who manages to finish that race out 1 lap down. We'll get our final results here and run all that back. And of course, our Muhammad Alif, your champion. So we'll have all those interviews when we come right back. So stay with us. You're not going to want to miss it as we talk to our champions, race winners, and everybody who deserves an interview here. Thanks for tuning in. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody, to the Yellow Brick Road 250 presented by the Napa Longland Corporation. Wrapping things up here, our post-race show, our post-season show, talking to our podium finishers from this race. We'll start it off with the man who brought it home third. It was a great race. Dylan Beatty had a shot there at the end. Do you think there was anything you could have done?
No, because I ran myself out of fuel.
No.
That's why Lucas got P2. I said, let's give Lucas a shot to try to get this because I knew I wasn't making it all the way around.
Well, you did manage to stumble across the line in P3, so still a really good showing. Led some laps there. Seemed like you had a pretty good strategy. I mean, it was certainly one that took planning all race. Strategy was complicated, but congratulations for pulling it off, man. Heck of a run.
Thank you. The strategy was there wasn't really much strategy going into the race, but once I realized Lucas was right behind me earlier in the race, working with Edwin, I figured out that you can catch people pretty quick if you're just flip flopping like I was trying to do with Lucas and did do with Lucas to catch back up to Jake and Wyatt. So once we kind of figured that out, I was like, let's pit a little bit earlier than everybody else and just try to gain as much as we can.
Well, it seemed to work out really well. Pretty good season for you. We talk about the end of the year. Looks like this one's going to slot you in about the 6th position in the overall points. Is that about where you were expecting?
Yeah, I mean, I wish I was a little bit higher, but, the middle of the season kind of whooped me pretty hard with a lot of DNFs, or pretty much 4 in a row. So I wish I was a little bit higher, but compared to the past 2 seasons I've had, I'm very, very happy with it. And I have 3 podiums on the season as well, so much improvement.
Absolutely. It's been great to see. Been great to watch. You led a few different races this season, if I believe. So congrats on that. Congrats on the year. And we'll give you the chance. Is there anybody you want to thank?
Obviously, all the people here at Ball State, our directors, Dan and BK, obviously our coach, Alif, who's kind of pushed us as hard as we possibly can to do as good as we can. The rest of my teammates, Nick, who's graduating, this was his last race, so big shout outs to him and all the conversations that we've had. Lucas, who obviously finished P2, and Kale, who had unfortunate stuff happen at the beginning of the race. But yeah, everybody here at Ball State, and then my family.
Well, thanks. Once again, it's been fun to watch. Congratulations on P3. Go celebrate this one.
Thank you, guys.
That was Dylan Beatty, your P3 finisher. Now we're going to talk to the man he mentioned there. Dylan wanted to give Lucas a shot at it. He's standing by with Ryan Whitlock.
Lucas, you got a copy up here in the booth?
Yes, sir.
Almost able to pull off a Michigan, but not quite. Tell us about that run to the finish there. I know Cade and I were thrilled up here watching that pit weekends work out and you guys battle for the win.
Yeah, I mean, me and Dylan and Brendan were trying to get a run onto Jake and Wyatt, who we knew were fighting. We did really well to stay in line, do our little, play a little game, and we caught up to Jake and Wyatt with 2 to go. Dylan had a massive draft, and when I caught it, I had a massive draft as well. For a second, I'm like, oh my gosh, Dylan can win this race. I was about to be so happy for him. And then at the last corner, or like on the last lap, he told me he's running out of fuel, and he ceded the position to me, super gracefully ceded the position to me, so I could try to go for the win because he wasn't going to make it to the end. And it's so close. Michigan, I was able to do it on the outside. Kansas, I wasn't. I mean, I'm sad at the end of the day, but like I got it there, I didn't get it here. It is what it is. But it was fun racing, especially up at the front. I know there was a lot of contact between. I think I was running second for a lot of the race, and I know I had contact with Clint, contact with Adam, contact with Nick. So OWR might not be like too thrilled with me, but I don't think any of the contacts were my fault, to be fair. I was pinched. I'll be honest, I was pinched them tight to the line, but they're running up on me, so tomato. But yeah, once again, huge shout out to Dylan. Especially, I feel so bad because I don't know if broadcast caught it, but I accidentally spun him under caution, the first caution, which I felt super bad for. So I'm glad he was able to recover to a 5th.
Yeah, and I know what I saw up here in the booth in regards to contact with OWR drivers. That's just how you have to drive this car sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
And you and I both know that netcode at 220 isn't the best thing ever. So I know what I saw. They can be mad all they want. It's the end of season, so who cares? Before we let you go, is there anybody you want to give shout-outs to for tonight or just the season as a whole?
Of course. I mean, this has been a tremendous season. 3rd place in the championship is my highest finish ever. in any FC, CCS, CSE, CPC, short STS, whatever you want to call it. So I'm super thrilled about that. First shout out obviously goes to Dylan. Great racing with him at the end. Great teamwork. We were so connected the entire race. As well, Leaf also very connected with him and Nick as well. Big shout out to Kale. Unfortunately, he got involved in 2 wrecks. So after his fast he got another one, wasn't able to continue the race. So sucks for him. Also, big shout out to all my other teammates. I no longer race Oval, so they're not my Oval teammates anymore, but they're still on the team. Of course, Kelton, Daniel, Jake, and all of our academy drivers, and Ben, and all of our academy drivers as well. Big shout out to Dan and BK, the directors here at Ball State. Big shout out to our sports consultant, Grayson, and then big shout out to all of my Overwatch teammates, both on the Moms and Ball State Block roster. And biggest shout out in the world to my brother Andrew, my dad, and of course the biggest one to my mom, who always tunes in for the races. Love you, Mom. Big kisses, big hearts.
Oh yeah, always support going on in our YouTube chat for you there, buddy. You've got her to thank for that. Well, good result. Happy to talk to you up here in the booth, and have a good night, my friend.
Thank you, you as well, and thank you for all the work you guys put in.
Appreciate that. That was our second place finisher, Lucas Mooney. Cade?
Absolutely, and now we're going to get to bring in the man of the hour. Congratulations, Wyatt Burton, getting it done for the second time this season. This one had a little bit of a different flavor to it, but it seems like you kind of celebrated it the same way.
I did, yeah. How do you guys like the Lightning McQueen strategy?
The spin and win, is that what you're talking about?
No tires, just gas.
Oh, yes.
At the last stop?
Yeah.
You would have been
I don't know
stupid
who
if
was
you
gonna
took
put
tires, I'm
tires
gonna be
on.
honest.
You did
A
not
bunch
need
of people
tires, you
did,
idiot.
Yeah. Yep.
Interesting. Well, it definitely
decided
seemed to
that
work
was
out for you,
good, yeah.
so I'm not going to question it. You definitely channeled the inner Lightning McQueen there, pulling that one out with the length of your tongue. How does it feel? You're already the winningest driver on ovals in FC history, but you add that extra one, you kind of pad that stat a little bit, and you go out and you end the season this way. How's that feel?
Feels great. I think I'm a lucky man.
Sometimes it is good to be lucky, but definitely good as well. Really good racing. Coming from the back, I mentioned the spin and win situation. That wreck, I think it was a wreck. Something happened at the beginning of the race. Having to come back from that. Did you ever feel like you were down and completely out of it?
I figured there was going to be enough cautions in the race to get the lucky dog to get back in it, but I knew that after I used my fast repair, I was going to have to be very cautious. I think I ran map 5 the entire race. I think the first time I went in map 1 was with about 8 or 9 to go.
We definitely didn't talk about your name a whole bunch at the front of the field, but kind of lying, waiting, stalking, and eventually went and made your move for the win. So glad it worked out. Congratulations. Reflecting on the season here, do you feel like you accomplished what you set out to do? I think you wound up P4 in the standings, 2 wins on the season. So how does that stack up with your expectations?
I would definitely take that. I believe it's better than my past 2 seasons. And on top of that, I did have to miss 3 or 4 races this season due to scheduling conflict. So my drop weeks were basically given up in the first 2-3 weeks of the season. So aside from that, I think finishing P4 and grabbing 2 wins in the season was a pretty good accomplishment with how it started.
Indeed, winning 2 races, nothing to ignore there. Before we let you go here, as always, anybody you want to shout out, anybody you want to thank?
I'm going to give a shout out to all my professors for giving me super easy finals this year.
Well, that's definitely something to be thankful for, man. I wish I had the same thing. Go celebrate this one, man. Have a lot of fun, and hopefully we'll see you next season.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. I look forward to it.
So that was Wyatt Burton. So now we're going to shift gears a little bit, bring in our alumni winner, highest finishing graduate driver of the race. We're going to go ahead and talk to Nick Stockner. He's with Ryan Whitlock.
Nick, you got a copy up here, buddy?
Of course we do, Ryan. Of course we do.
Beautiful. Well, not the overall win you're looking for, but still a strong showing, still good running, and you still walk out of here with the alumni win. Tell us about it.
It was certainly an event. Shout out to all the guys who came out. It gave us a good show, gave us a good race. Happy to lead the most laps. We came in there with a really fast race car, and at the end of the day, it just really came down to we went for the fuel safe strat that didn't really work out in our favor, and took too much fuel on the pit stop. I miscalculated, but was trying to think about what I could do there at the end, and I think a very eventful evening. I made a mistake on my own there with the pit entry calculation. Definitely sent it in a little bit too hard there. Made a mistake, owned up to it. But that's life. But yeah, we had a really strong car today. Just thankful that we were able to get a good result, and we can look forward to the future.
Yeah, definitely good running, like you mentioned, leading the most laps. I think your improvement on the ovals in this car has showed this season. Just a couple things didn't fall your way. Tell me about your season as a whole.
Well, we only did the ovals. Las Vegas, we did really well, but due to just some shenanigans and some, wall of ball kind of deals, we got shuffled out and spun. So 7th was the best we could do there. Michigan, we just got caught out by a bad fuel strategy and one lap dash to the finish. So P6 is the best we could do. We won Pocono, which, first CIL win. It's going to go down as my only CIL win, but really fast race car there, and showed that, when everything goes our way, we do have the talent and we do have the skills that we. I mean, I don't really like. I'm usually more humble than not, but I could confidently say, at least on everything but the short, flat ovals, I'm the best there is in this league out there at doing it. We put the car up front every week. We lead the most laps every week. It's just usually there's one little thing that doesn't go our way, and Milwaukee showed that we just didn't really have the pace there. But then we came back here and put it in second. Immediately took the lead. Held it for a long time. Just one little mistake on my end. It cost us dearly, but I think that's really what I can take away from this season is, every single race, it seemed like there was a slightly different cast of characters looking for the win, but there was always one constant, and that was me, and I can hold my head up high about that.
That you certainly can, my friend. Before we let you go, anybody you want to shout out one final time?
Of course, I gotta shout out my family, Baba and Nina, Mama. They watched every single race. It's over. I'm just so thankful they could watch along for the ride. My fiance, for always getting me a Pepsi when I ask, and for being there for me when I need it the most. The guys who make the car go fast every week: Daikin Applied Americas, The Familiar Strange, Milliken and Company, Polar Tech, Westex, Whitehead Die Casting, Zynic Capital. Handy Dan's Landscaping, Lowe's of Harrisonburg, everybody who keeps on coming on the car. Car's going to be looking a lot different next season now that we're not doing this. We no longer constrained to Clemson colors, so we get to have a little bit more free reign on how our cars look. I'm really excited for that. But and then just want to thank you, Ryan, and Cade for doing this every week, and especially the CIL admin team that's leaving, myself, Drew, Ryan, Tucker, Ricky. Not a lot of people really understand this, but the league was in dire straits multiple times, and if it wasn't for us bucking up and just getting in there and putting in the effort needed, this league wouldn't exist anymore. And I think there's some people out there that need to be a little bit more grateful of that. But yeah, that's all I got to thank. Excited for this to be over. It's time to go sit in my rocking chair and watch this from afar every now and then.
Well said, buddy. Well said. Well, I know I am looking forward to what the future holds for us, and I will talk to you later.
Of course, sir. Thank you.
That was our alumni winner, Nick Stockner, and now let's see if we can get our alumni champion on the season. I will hand it over to Cade with the alumni champion, Edwin Onofre.
Edwin Onofre up here in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah. Hi, everyone.
We just wanted to give you your props, give you your shout-outs for a great season. After it's all said and done, officially, I know you clinched it, but officially you are the highest finishing alumni driver in the final standings. How does that feel?
Awkward, surprising, appreciated, but also concerning. I don't know. I feel like I haven't even been participating for most of the season for Formula, and yet I still somehow finished the highest alumni, which is not much, but hey, I'll take whatever gains I can get out of it, because there were some good races that I had in Formula, but I feel like I just gotta question myself, like, how am I up here?
Well, we got to give you your shout-outs. Definitely had some great races. It had some competition. A few other alumni went out and ran a lot of really great races, and you had to beat those guys straight up. So shout-outs for that. Congratulations for that. Of course, we appreciate you coming out and running those races. Always good to see alumni drivers come back and fill the field with some great racing there. So shout-outs to you, of course. Congrats. And got to ask, are we expecting any more Formula appearances from you next season?
Perhaps not. I might have to use the time that I've been spending around CIL to try to put into something else, because I'm trying to reach a professional motorsport, and doing all these leagues might take a little bit of time for me. Like, it's basically I have to compromise one for the other. If it becomes like a fun car, probably I may come back to that, but we'll see how it goes.
Well, we appreciate you putting in the time that you have. It's always been fun to have you. Before we let you go here, maybe one last time, is there anybody you got to shout out?
I'd like to shout out to you guys for putting up a very good season. It was really fun, and I enjoyed watching the broadcast races. A few shout outs to Tech Sport Academy, Tech Sport Racing, I mean. This is the IRL team for SRO, and I'm about to represent them once I go to Indianapolis next week at Indy for the performance racing industry, which is one of the biggest motorsport industry conventions that I will be a part of for an esports race. And then shout out to my friends and family. Shout out to my coworkers at Discount Tire. And I believe that's all.
Well, thanks. Go ahead and celebrate the season. Take some time off, and good luck with whatever you decide to do.
Thank you.
Oh. Welcome back to the booth, Cade. Accidentally dragged the wrong person out. Before we bring up the next person, I did want to mention Edwin. Despite not starting every round, the reason he walked away with the alumni title, 9 starts, 7 top 10s. So that'll do it. Now let's go ahead and bring in our champion, R. Muhammad Alif, up in the booth. Alif, you got a copy?
Yep.
Well, congratulations on your overall Formula College Championship. Not really any surprises, but yeah, I mean, anything outside of the norm you want to say about it?
No, as usual, just really happy to get the championship again. And yeah, just glad with how the team performed, and yeah, a lot of fun.
Well, not the best race ever tonight. I do believe the final oval of your FC career. Do you intend on running FC further in the future?
I graduate in May, so I'll probably do it one more time before hanging it up. So,
Gotcha.
So yeah.
So we'll see. Always next season, right?
Yeah.
I mean, certainly the pace has been there. Just unfortunate luck. I think Netcode had a couple
strategy
things to say. Strategy, yeah. Other people
washing up, trying to enter the pit lane.
No such thing as a small wreck when you're going 220, right? So.
Yeah.
Such as life.
I'll usually do whatever's needed. Like, I'll put it on pole, but then usually it gets taken away one way or another. But I mean, oval wins don't crown championships. Just performing throughout the season, so crowns champions. So.
Well said. Well said.
Yep.
Well, before we let you go, I assume you've got your slew of shout outs to make.
Oh yeah. First of all, to you guys for keeping everyone entertained with your shenanigans on the panel. Yeah, the school here, Ball State University, all our drivers, the roadside and oval side. My parents back home, Dan and BK for all their support, and City of Muncie for everything.
Well, anything else you want to add, Cade? Because this is going to be the last time we have you up here in the booth. It's almost a regular occurrence, but I've enjoyed it from the production side. Anything else, Cade?
No, I just do want to shout out and add that Ball State did lock up the school championship for this season here in the Formula College. I know you've definitely been involved on the coaching side of that group as well, so wanted to point that out, shout that out, and say congratulations for that as well.
Thank you so much. Yeah, that's it's also another thing that we were proud of. Even though like I may get taken out in like ovals or get shuffled to the back because of strategy, but then our drivers like today, Lucas and Dylan, the double podium, and always flying the Ball State flag really high. So yeah, really proud of them.
A lot of good effort from those drivers. Congratulations once again, and hope y'all can go celebrate this one a little bit as a team and also celebrate those personal compliments. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We will.
All right, so that wraps up our interviews of our champions. Do have a couple of more guys we want to talk to, but before we get to them, we do want to take a moment to shout out everybody for tuning in to this race. There's a couple of names that I've seen in the chat that I think deserve shout-outs of their own. Shout-outs to Cheryl Poff, Michelle Moody, and Cheryl Burton. You guys have, I think, been here for just about every race, so especially Cheryl Burton, with the Wyatt Burton connection there. You guys have been doing great stuff.
Yeah.
Hopefully you keep tuning in. The Wyatt Burton fan club has been, the Brennan Lyman fan club has been pretty present as well.
Yep.
But we love to see it. I don't know what our production is going to look like next season, but hopefully you guys will find a way to tune in. Come find us. Keep watching these races. They'll be exactly as they were tonight. Exciting, fast, fun, and hopefully a lot going on. And a fan favorite, getting it done is always fun as well. So thank you guys so much. Obviously, if people don't watch, we have no reason to put on these productions. So keeping me employed in a way. So let's go ahead and talk to now. We'll bring both of our road directors into the booth. We've talked about it a little bit. The admin team doing a little bit of change here. We're in kind of a transitionary time. So we've got Ricky Paz and Ben Fiore standing by up here in the booth. We'll start with Ricky Paz. Ricky, this season in the FC, you've kind of taken control. You've grown the season a little bit, and you've seen what it could become under your leadership. How does it feel now, kind of seeing it all wrap up and being able to take a moment to step away from it all?
Yeah, it's really nice to see where it has come in the year and a half. Honestly, I stepped in as an interim position just to fill a vacancy, and I had ideas of what the Formula College Series could be, and I kind of just took it and ran. And to see the stats from the last 3 seasons and the overall growth that this series in particular has seen, it's been really a true joy to work for it. But as all good things, they must come to an end. With my future coming up and with the series having young blood and young ideas, I think it's time to pass the torch on. And so I'm excited to see what comes next for the series.
You mentioned that torch being passed on to Ben Fiore after tonight. It's going to be the alumni from Marist picking up that role. We've seen him racing here in the Formula College Series, but next season going to be getting it done behind the scenes. Ben, how are you feeling about picking this up and building on this foundation?
Well, I gotta say, Kate, I am really excited to come onto the role. Just in general with where road course racing has gone in the last couple of seasons, because I can say when I started racing this league 2.5 years ago, it just wasn't to the level that we're at right now with just the different options, the different types of racing that we have, especially here in FC with now oval and road course. I never thought that was going to happen when I first joined, so I'm really looking forward to where we can take this. We've seen great racing on the road courses, on the ovals here in the FC series, and so many different drivers from so many different schools take part. So the goal is to kind of just build on that momentum and really just try to just explore new racetracks, give the drivers new opportunities, and really push together what can, at least in my opinion, is the best open wheel car on the service, and that is the Dallara IR18 INDYCAR. So it's a really cool option to have this series stick with the IndyCar for another season for the spring, and I think once the drivers get to see the schedule not too long from now, they'll be pretty excited to get back to racing, and not a long time from now.
Well, we want to thank you both for everything you've put in. Ricky, for everything that you've already done, and Ben, for everything that we know you're going to do. I, for one, am excited to be on the admin team with you next season. I think we're going to do a lot of great things. So thank you both for taking a moment to stop by and say hi. Anything else either of y'all want to add?
I just want to say thanks to Ben for stepping up and filling the vacancy. I think that the Dallara IR18 has a very interesting offseason going into the next competitive season with the addition of the hybrid system. So I'm excited to see where the next few seasons, where Ben will take the next few seasons. So congratulations on getting the position. Happy to see what you do with it. And thanks to everyone who's stuck around with us for the past few seasons. You guys are in good hands.
I appreciate those kind words, Ricky. Thanks so much, man. And hopefully we can repay the privilege of having this position with hopefully seeing some good racing, and definitely, and of course, a return to Indianapolis in due time, of course.
Well,
There you have it. Old director and the new director. Sorry, Ryan, go ahead.
I've got nothing else to add. Take it away.
Alrighty. Well, Ryan also did help out a little bit on the road directing side this season, so I think he deserves a shout out for that as well. But I think go ahead and we'll say to Ricky, let's get him out of here.
Oh, yeah.
Bye, Ricky.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm glad you got Ben out of there before he had some. He was contesting your shout out to me for some reason. But regardless, before we get out of here, send the show on the road. Let's take a look at our full screen results.
That's right. Amid everything that's been handed out, we did have a race tonight, and it was won by Wyatt Burton by just 44 thousandths of a second. I mean, that's over a car length, one of the larger margins of victory that we've seen, if you can believe it. Dylan Beatty running out of gas as he crosses the line, still brings home P3, and Brennan Lyman, a great effort there at the end to wind up in the 4th spot, one of his best finishes of the season and of his career. Andrew Voigt, in potentially his last CIL race, will wind up with a top 5, beating out Nick Stockner on fuel strategy there. Adam Willoughby, P7. Jake Cummings winds up 8th after fading there at the end. And Logan McKim finds a way to get back on the lead lap and wind up 9th after that great run. Edwin Onofre, of course, your alumni champion, also the fence climbing champion of the race. He will wind up last car in the top 10, 1 lap down.
Nick Henley, 2 laps down from Ball State University. Running okay up there early in the race, but unable to stay on the lead lap. Josh Camphor from Kansas State in 12th. Andrew Burrell, Clemson University, finishes 13th. R. Muhammad Alif, our champion, but not a great way to finish his season. Ball State University in 14th. Aaron Gosler from Kansas State in 15th. Grant Schiller from St. Clair College in 16th. Stell Beasley, University of Delaware, 17th. Alex Jones had that big wreck earlier on from the Rolls-Holman of Institute Technology. 18th, Clint Halterman. Another incident. 19th, Cale Davidson, Ball State in 20th.
So that wraps it up, wraps up the race, wraps up the season. I think we've already said plenty of shout-outs, plenty of goodbyes, but once again, thank you all for watching. Ryan, it's been an absolute pleasure to be up here in the booth with you. Of course, we've been up in the booth with a few other commentators as well. I know Wesley Saw, Jonathan Nicasio, and Ben Fiore, who's just up here, have all put in their time as commentators. Ryan doing double duty tonight. It's been a ton of fun. I'm hoping to be able to continue a little bit of this next season, but we may have some other voices calling these FC races. Really, it's up to what happens. We got to make a lot of decisions before next season, but we can guarantee that we will continue bringing you the same great racing that we've seen all this same year, and it'll be just as accessible, if not more so, to everybody who wants to tune in. So, Ryan, if this is the last time that we get to say it, everybody, thank you for tuning in, and have a fantastic night.